They laughed when I didn't. It was at the wedding dinner, a room glittering with the light of crystal chandeliers, and the delicate scent of white orchids filling the air. My son Adam sat at the head table with his fiancée Lauren, glowing in ivory, her smile dripping with smugness. My wife Helen, perched beside them, sipping champagne like it was holy water, as if she were somehow above everything and everyone around her. I stood there, holding the bottle of wine I had brought as a gift, feeling out of place in a world I thought I belonged to. Then Lauren leaned forward, her eyes sharp and sweet, the kind that could cut through the thickest armor. So we just need $45,000 to settle tonight's dinner, she said, her voice too smooth, almost rehearsed. Or you can forget about having a son. She smiled, but there was a chill in her eyes, one that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I blinked, trying to process what she was saying. You must be joking. And then they laughed. Adam, my own flesh and blood, laughed. His mother, the woman I had stood by through everything, laughed too. No joke, Adam said, still grinning, the malice in his voice barely concealed. Either pay the bill or get out. Maybe look into an old age home while you're at it. That was when I laughed, long and hard, until the room fell quiet, all eyes on me. And then in the silence that followed I said it. You forgot one thing. Their faces turned pale. I could feel the weight of their gaze, the shock. They had thought they had me cornered, that they could bleed me dry and get away with it. But they hadn't realized who they were dealing with. I wasn't always the man people dismissed. I was the man who tucked Adam into bed after Helen walked out twice. The man who sold his bike to pay for violin lessons that Adam never thanked me for. I was the one who sat in silence when Helen came back, as if nothing had ever broken us. I let them believe I was weak. I wasn't. The first sign came 3 months ago when Adam stopped calling. No birthday wishes. No "How are you, Dad?" Just silence. Then came the notification from the joint investment account I had opened for him when he turned 18. My access was revoked. I asked him about it, and he smiled that rehearsed smile. It's a mistake, he said, dismissing me with the ease of someone who thought he had already won. Then Helen moved back into the house. She said it was temporary, that she missed us. But I had seen the texts. From Lauren to Helen. * he's got the retirement fund. We can bleed it out. Just keep him trusting you until the wedding. * from Adam to Lauren. * don't worry. He's pathetic. Always has been. He'll pay *. They thought I was still the grieving husband, the doting fool, the one they could walk all over. What they didn't know was that I had built my company from nothing, that I had sold it quietly for $3.6 million. They didn't know that I had kept receipts for everything. Even them. That night, I stopped crying. I started watching. The first step was simple. I called my lawyer, drew up a new will, and erased Adam's name. I left everything to a scholarship fund in his name. Irony, I found, tastes better than bitterness. The second step was even easier. I sold the house while Helen was at Lauren's bridal fitting. She didn't own a brick of it. The locksmith came an hour later, and the house was mine, free from her grasp. Step 3 was more meticulous. I hired a forensic accountant. Found the account Adam had drained and transferred the funds back legally. I left a single dollar in there with a note. Thanks for watching my money. And then step 4. I RSVP'd yes to the wedding dinner. Quietly, I paid the hotel manager to swap the platinum room package to the base tier one. No lobster. Just chicken. No upgrades, no refunds, just smiles. When Lauren demanded $45,000 to settle the night's dinner, she was bluffing with a fake diamond in a plastic crown. And when Adam and Helen laughed, they didn't know the photographer they'd hired was a friend of mine, recording everything. They didn't know that the guests were already whispering, noticing the downgrade, the tension in the air. You forgot one thing, I said again, louder this time, making sure every word was heard. I raised you better, but you didn't raise yourselves right. The room fell into a stunned silence. Murmurs rippled through the guests. Tonight's dinner, I continued, paid for by Lauren's ex, by the way. He still had her credit card from when she forgot to close the joint account. Lauren's face cracked. I turned to Adam. And you stole from me. So here's your final gift, check your bank account. He did, right there at the table. He paled when he saw the transfer. Paid further, I said with a smile. I took it back. All of it. Legally. You never signed the trust agreement I emailed. Remember? Your signature was missing. Helen shot to her feet. You can't do this, she cried. I already did. I replied, my voice calm steady. Also, you might want to call a cab. The house is sold, locks changed. Oh, and I filed a police report for the forged documents. Gasps erupted from the guests. Forks hit porcelain. Lauren's mother started crying. And me? I smiled. You thought I was your ATM, I said, my voice low and filled with quiet satisfaction. You forgot I was your architect. And architects, well, we plan. We build. We demolish too. I walked out past the silence, stepping into the cool night air. It was crisp. Honest. No tears. No regret. Just peace. Because betrayal cuts deep, but revenge, when done right, cuts cleaner. And I'd waited long enough to make it surgical. Justice doesn't scream. It smiles and walks away.